is any of you holding Tesla?
Yes, I am.
Great. So are you planning to hold for 1 or 2 days, or are you planning to exit on Monday?
No, I did it only for a short-term profit. So I'm having about 200 plus. Um, so it's not a very good trade I took. It's a very risky one. So I don't know if I'm able to liquidate it in the morning.
So Monday you could hold, and
Okay.
the reason why uh, I'm feeling it might drop, primarily two reasons. One is it is already at all-time high, as you could see here. I think, yeah, 695 is at all-time high, and since it will be included in S&P 500, that's the news which has pulled it from 400. I think it was around 450 that time, 400, 450 when the news came out. And on top of other news, it pulled it up to 700. And since it will be included, based on some reference articles I have been reading, they mentioned that the chances of it dropping would be higher. So it would be good time to take out your profit. And in terms of indicators, if you see RSI, so RSI is already in overbought position, and it's it's touching the upper Bollinger Band. So I feel it would be a good time for you to take out your profit. And if someone is looking to get in, I I would say the next buying price would be somewhere around 600. It did stay back around 600 2 weeks back. So someone who is trying to buy for short term, buy price around 600. And if someone wants to keep it for long term and want to get at even lower price, uh, a price of around $500 would be ideal. Though if it drops under 600, you can buy some and then have your funds so that you could add some more once it drops further. So I have liquidated all my Tesla positions, and I'm expecting it to start picking up again under 600. Any questions on Tesla?
Thank you. You very well explained. Thanks.
My pleasure. Okay, so shall we take next talk?
Yes, sir.
I saw a request for shop, so I will take TSX one. Very much similar to Tesla, you could see even Shopify is at all-time high. And for those who had bought when we were messaging in the group around 1200, this week was good to exit their positions and book around $250, $300 profit. So again, for Shopify, I would say it's, though RSI is under 700, um, it's in overbought position in my view. And once it drops under 1350, uh, you could enter again for swing trades. And if you are looking to hold it for long term, buy price around 1250 would be ideal. 1250 or if it drops further 1200, since 52-week high has crossed 1500, this time I am not expecting it to reach again this level of 1150. So 1250, 1200 might be uh, the lower prices where we could enter for holding it for medium to longer term. Any questions on Shopify?
What level you said for enter in short term?
For swing trades around 1370, 1350
Okay.
for swing trades, and for long term around 1250. If it reaches 1200, that would be even better. But this time we may expect it might turn around from 1250. And I'm showing this Bollinger Band. Even I have been referencing Bollinger Band and trading. As you could see that it's, at least for Shopify, because I trade a lot in Shopify. Sometimes if I'm free, I do day trades as well. Um, the Bollinger Band gives a very good reference. Most especially on green days, you could, uh, if you are day trading, you could follow Bollinger Band and buy when it is low and sell when it is high. You could easily make $10 to $15 profit in a single trade on a day. And if you are holding for short to long terms, um, it also gives good ranges. Ranges are reliable, as as I mentioned few minutes back. I was mentioning based on the reference that the range that I'm seeing as per Bollinger Band. So if you guys might check uh, somewhere around 10th or 15th November, we were suggesting to buy it under 1200. So it had reached 1157, around 1195. I had bought couple of them, and I did a quick trade. I think on Wednesday I had bought at 1365 and I exited on Thursday at 1465. But that was quick trade only for those who are doing trades on a daily basis. For them, it would be a good reference. That since I saw it had formed a, I think if I show it on one day, then it would be even more clear. Let me switch to 1 minute chart. So on maybe the previous chart could also give a reference of what I did get a question from one of the members, that what made me to buy at 1365 and sell at 1465. So if you could see closely, um, this green candle, it had crossed this mid Bollinger Band, and on this, on 15th, it touched this mid Bollinger Band and it moved upward. So which was a hint that it's still on uptrend, and we could expect that it would continue upward. That's why I bought at 1365 on 15th, and on 16th it went up about $113 or maybe even more, and I exited at 1465 because I got the profit I was expecting. I was expecting $100 profit. I could have still held it further and could have sold it at 1500, um, because I do work as well, so I didn't want to I would have been in meetings, so I didn't want to take the risk of losing. So I exited at 1465. Um, Next time when I buy it, for me, my selling range would be 1500, because now since it has touched 1534, uh, once I buy it at lower next time, my reference for my sell target would be based on the highest price that it is reaching this time. So since it has reached 1534, next time I might expect to sell it at 1535. Though it might not reach, based on how it is trading on that day when it goes high. If I need to, I might modify my sell limit, but that would be my reference. As in, I'm sharing how I'm deciding on my sell targets. Any questions here? Please feel free to interrupt me and ask if you need to.
No, thank you. You've identified the exit, sorry, target, 1500, around 1500. We should keep in mind.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. So I see some requests here. XPEV. Okay. Sure. We will go over this. I'll just keep a note of it so that in case our call drops, I do have it. So it's XPV, TH, CNQ, TFFI, BB, and alpha. Right? Is TFI and TFFI same, Vivek?
Sorry?
Uh, you mentioned TFFI and TFI. Are they same or are they different?
No, it's
Uh,
not me.
Vivek. Okay. Okay. Yeah, same. Fine.
Is Vivek sir here?
Uh, there's one more Vivek on the call,
Oh, okay.
right? And PLTR, sure.
Yeah, AC goes and KPI also.
Okay. Yeah, right. PKI, right?
Yes, PKI.
Okay. And there's a question from Imran. What does this red bar shows on Bollinger Band? Is it used for swing trade? This red dots. Um, so I I usually keep this as 22. So this is upper Bollinger Band. It's touching this. This red dotted line is the current price. And if you look at the wall, this red bar, its volume, red green volume is on the day where it has gone up. So if you see here, the volume is high, which means people are now exiting and they are trying to book profit. Was that your question, Imran? Space and Zishan, okay. Sure. So let's go over them one by one. Sorry, I haven't logged in. That's why it keeps going up. Okay. Let me have a quick check if Tahi is around. No problem. So let's go over next to XPEV. Again, an EV stock which gave a good spike. Uh, yes. So I have been following this stock once it started trading, and as you guys can see, in November it has rallied a lot, and now it is going through correction. And this week it is starting to reverse. So it's good time to enter if you are uh, looking to take a new position. So buy price around 46 or 42 was 42.98 was the lowest since that it has started taking reverse. I would say a buy price around $45 looks good. Um, Even if you try to enter around 46, that's not uh, too bad. Only thing is, uh, since as you can see, after this big red candle, it is dropping. So I would say it would be better to wait until Tuesday. Tomorrow being Monday, it might go up again. On Tuesdays, usually US market on Tuesdays and Fridays they are low. So if on Tuesday if it is under 46, you could enter into XPEV. And since it had touched I think highest was 74.5. Yeah. So even if you buy around 45, you have a profit. You can look at profit around $30 if you could keep it for medium term. For short term gains, buying around 45, you could have a short term target at around $55. So $10 could be your short term profit if you're doing a swing trade on XPEV.
Kamal, do you plan on getting into this stock?
Yeah, I have entered into this.
Oh, you already entered, huh?
Yeah, I entered into this.
At what price?
Uh, I think first I got few of them at 49, and then I doubled my position at 44
Okay.
on this day. Yeah.
Kamal, like I entered this when they started at that time, like around 20,
Mm-hmm.
and then exited around 40. I should have waited some more time.
That's fine. I mean, see, you were close to 100% once around 1995.
Yeah, I'm planning to enter it again. So
Right.
I think like this time the growth would be a little bit slow, it seems, because the EV that that gigantic growth, it's kind of, I don't think I would be seeing that in the second time. So we never know. So,
Yeah. But if you're planning to hold for long term,
yeah,
in general, X, XPEV and NEO, you could, if you are entering in these, either of these, you could plan to hold for long term as well. Um, as you mentioned that you might not see a quick rally like this, but
yeah,
certainly it would push up, more especially in January, sometime once Joe Biden takes position again. This was largely impacted by US election results. So you might still hope that if there are new laws which are announced in favor of electric, in general, renewable sources. Uh, so you might expect these stocks to go up again.
Sure.
So that's one of the motive why I started entering XPEV. That I'm seeing, once new government starts operating, um, this energy and electric vehicles as well as cannabis stock saw this kind of rally in November. So these two sector stocks I'm starting to enter. That's my way of thinking.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I
I'm
agree.
sharing with everyone. I might end up wrong, but that's the thought process, that's the reason why I have been following these two sectors closely these days.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions on XPEV? Maybe we can see a few more indicators if you want a confirmation of its trend. So how much is CCI, and I guess it might not allow to. Yeah, so both on CCI and RSI, both indicators are supporting that it's low. Most firstly, RSI is clear that it's in um, oversell position, so you could enter. CCI is still around -74. It can touch -95. So if you strictly want to follow these indicators, maybe mm, you might wait for it to drop further. So I believe if it comes around under 45, you might see this indicator dropping. So that could be a good time to enter. And even Williams R might drop around uh, lower than 90. So currently it is -85. So CCI, Williams R, and RSI, these three indicators I have learned from Vivek sir and are support uh, to what I see the range on Bollinger Band. So if this indicator CCI is under -90, and if Williams R is um, also under -85, and RSI is under 35, these three indicators indicate that it is in oversold position, and you could enter either for short term or for medium to long term. Any questions here? Okay, there's a question from Vivek. What amount do you need to keep as buffer in the account to buy target stocks? The question I'm asking is, there's a lag in 2 to 5 days to transfer in IBK and well sample. I'm a beginner. Okay, sure. So usually before buying a stock, I have this habit of uh, watching it for few days. So at least a week or so, I watch a stock before entering into it. So that time is good enough for getting the funds ready as well. So if you are worrying about this IBKR or will simple taking 3 to 5 days time for getting the funds ready, you can use that time for watching the stocks and deciding which stock you will enter. So so by the time your funds are ready, you already know which stocks you want to buy instead of having the funds ready and starting to buy immediately. And regarding buffer, it depends on the stock. Usually if let's say a stock is like Tesla and I'm planning to enter around 400, so I would keep $100 buffer of $500, because if it if I see that Tesla is consistently trading around 500 and 450, 500, it is not coming close to 400, then I would enter in between 450 to 500. So to answer your question here with this example, I keep a buffer of around 25%. In Tesla's case, $100 is 25% of $400 stock. So 25% buffer I keep it for the stock which I want to enter, or which I'm looking to buy. Any questions, Vivek? Please feel free if I'm not answering your question directly, or if you have any questions on that. Okay, sure. So if there are no questions, shall we go to next talk?
Yes, sir.
Sure. Okay, so CYTH. CYTH. Okay. This is health tech stock. So health tech stocks are especially on US market, they are trading unexpectedly. If they are low, they can rise like anything, and if they are high, they can fall like anything. So people who love volatility and are okay to take risk in return of making short term or quick profit, health tech stocks on either Nasdaq or New York Stock Exchange. These days, mostly since COVID has hit, these stocks are trading with high volatility and high volumes as well. Okay, so if, sorry, any question before I look at the technical?
I have a question. Like, is this a trend for all the healthcare stocks?
Health technology stocks, most of the stocks which are either in COVID vaccine related field, or they are doing anything related to vaccine, or also the any specific disease, like last week there was a cancer conference. The companies which are involved in, I think, specifically breast cancer
Yeah,
medicines.
GLSA.
Yeah,
GLSA.
right. So there was a conference for virtual conference for
Yeah.
breast cancer. So the companies which presented over there, and GLSI, if I'm correct, that was one of them which gave presentation which took that spike.
Yeah, I would like to add that I understand these. I'm from the pharma background. I do understand the data that has been presented, and I really was impressed with the data presented by GLSI. And I felt that okay, this is really, because the news was like in 5 years there was no reoccurrence of breast cancer, and that is something is really a big news. So I thought that I should enter into it, but I what I did was I wanted to buy it at 40, and I had put a bid for it. But what I did was I put a market price instead of limit price. Instead of buying it at 40, I got it at around 130, and and then I realized that okay, even if it is 130, it should increase because the data was really strong. It fell down to around 60, and now it is trading at around 38. So will this kind of volatility always exist?
Yeah, so you shared a very uh, correct and relevant experience. Uh, this is how the news is impacting health tech stocks.
Okay.
That volatility, what you saw that day, was purely based on that news. The way you felt that their presentation was uh, very um,
Yes.
it was a very strong uh, presentation which gave strong confidence to other investors as well, which led it
Okay.
to spike. Um, few among those who invested would be related. The investors might be related to health investments. Those who are
Okay.
actually investing in health tech, but since they invested, the stock price went up, and then came the day traders and the one who uh, make
Okay.
money on
Got it. Got
by
it. Got it.
um, pushing the stock up and making money. So those all things do happen.
Yeah.
So that adds to the volatility, and uh,
Yeah, and
this is
later
the
on, we observed the same trend with IIMP. I stopped investing in these stocks because that is what I started observing. IIMP, there was a news. It was trading at around $4. It went up to $9. Again, it came down to $3. Then there was another stock which was called Viru.
right,
The same thing happened with it, but now luckily it is trading at around $10. It was at around $2 or $3 again, and I was surprised, like being from the pharma and not into trading.
hmm
This kind of volatility was a new experience, but then the GLSI experience made me caution that okay, I should not invest a lot into it. So, what would be your suggestions? Like when uh, we understand something, and the other aspect of this day trading, how does that impact? So, what should be the strategy to invest in such stocks?
right. So your question is totally valid, and the stocks which you mentioned, because I was also following the conference, I was also looking at these stocks, IIMP and GLSI. So this kind of spike is not new this year, most especially this year since COVID has hit. Okay,
Okay.
there have been stocks which have spiked like this just because they are involved in some kind of activity related to COVID or vaccine. You might check Kodak, Kodak Eastman. They were initially into camera, and then they got funding from federal government US to um, do for their investment in related to COVID vaccine.
Okay.
That led that stock to go up around 1,000% that day.
So,
Similar spike you saw for GLIS.
yeah.
Okay, and uh, this spike, the day they spike is because the news comes that day, and as a normal trader, being a small, I would say a
Volume.
very small mm, trader or investor, if you compare to big investors, by the time we get to know this news, the stock price has already gone up.
Right.
And when you try to enter, seeing that spike, and you see, because you notice that there is 50% or 100%
Yeah.
increase in the price of the stock,
Right.
and if you try to enter at that point,
Yeah.
it's it's either too late,
Yeah.
or after you enter it will go up, but by the time
Yeah.
you exit it has already dropped.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That is, I GLSI made me like realize the mistake that I did. So I stopped investing into these stocks, and I was like just monitoring it, observing the trend, and this trend was pretty consistent with all the stocks of biotech. And if there is a news, there is a spike, and after a few days, it dropped down to the same level it was existing earlier.
right, right. So uh, that's why I mentioned at the start itself. So these days, if you're looking for making short-term gains or quick gains and you are entering these stocks, there's a risk involved as well. So you
Yeah.
already are saying to yourself that you are taking a risk.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
if you're lucky, you might make a profit, but
Yeah.
there are chances that you might end up losing. The chances of losing are more rather.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Thanks for the input.
You're welcome. So I'm sharing based on what I have observed. Luckily, whenever I see a spike in a stock which has gone up by 50% or 100%, because I usually don't day trade. I day trade only on the stocks which I keep on following, like I mentioned, Shopify.
Okay.
So I know the stocks, its trend. Only on those stocks I try to day trade. Um, for newer stocks, if they are low, then I invest, thinking to keep it for
Long term.
swing trades or short to medium term. So
Okay.
since I invest for short to medium term, I do analysis on what is the buying price, and before entering, I expect a target price. So I have that in my mind before entering. And
Right.
now coming to this health tech stocks, uh, these are volatile. This year, health tech stocks, if you see across all sectors, you would see that health tech stocks have performed much better than some of the other sectors, if you, especially if you compare with energy sector, because COVID has hit hard to energy sector and which has benefited this health tech sector. So it may not be that all the stocks in health tech have gone up, but most of the stocks have seen the spike either one or two times. That's why in general the sector has performed well. Any questions here? Okay, so if there are no questions, we can move further with the CYTH. So let me put into date if I see today. Okay, so it has been on downtrend. And this downtrend, it is continuing from start of 2020. It is on downtrend. It had a little spike on 18th December. So on Friday, so if we look at these last two trading sessions, it's giving a hint that it is starting to reverse. But I would say not to conclude only on two trading sessions, as you could see that over here for three trading sessions it was up, but then it continued further. So if you are planning to enter this for long term, it may still be good. You could enter if it falls under $5, but buy in small quantity, so that if it drops again around $4, you could increase your position and hold it for medium to long term. Uh, Once you see it is around $4, give it a day again to have a confirmation that the trend it is reversing. Once you would notice that once it touches this price around 430, it is moving up. Once you see a confirmation of uptrend, then you double up your position. If you observe that it is still continuing to move down further, you can hold on buying more. Hope I am making sense. And let's see if I add some more indicators that can be a support. Yeah. So it has moved upward. Both CCI and Williams R has moved upward, indicating that it's reversing trend upward. More especially because on the last trading day, it went up. Yeah, close to 18%. It had gone up. That's why there's uh, it is steep upwards. But you might still expect either on Monday or Tuesday, after one or two more trading sessions, the trend might be more clearer. Since it has moved around 18% on Friday, you may expect that it might trade up a little on Monday again, because when people see that it has gone up 18%, then some of them enter. So the trend would be more clearer, I would say, after one or two more days of trading session. So if you are looking to enter this for medium to long term, I would say to hold on for 2 to 3 days more to get more clearer understanding of whether it is continuing on downtrend or it is reversing the trend. Um, if it is actually reversing the trend and if it goes little up, you might feel that you got it at little higher price, but that's a safer position to enter, because the trend is confirmed, it is moving up. So you didn't get the lowest price, but you are making sure that the stock is starting to give positive return instead of you getting loss, since it will continue moving up. So currently it is at 5.59, and if we again check around at the start of year, it was around 35. So still a good price to enter. uh, Only caution is just wait for the confirmation of its reversal of trend upward. Any questions on this one? Are we okay with this? Cool. Okay, so let's go with our next stock in the list. It is CNQ, right? Canadian Natural Resources. Okay, so I think this gives dividend, right? 5.51. Yeah, so this is a strong company which I I know because of its financials, but because of COVID, again being into energy sector, it had impacted, and it is recovering, but still lower than its normal average before COVID. So if you are planning to enter this for dividends, it's a good stock to hold for a long term if you are um, expecting to get dividends. So based on its recent sessions, it is going down. So both CCI and Williams are downward. So I would suggest to hold on entering if you have not entered already. And buy price around under $30 would be a good entry point for this if you're looking to enter within a week or two. And long-term target for this, and a long-term target of around $42 would be uh, good if you're planning to hold it for long term. So buy around $30, and if you are planning to exit in the long term, target could be $42. And along with that, it gives dividend. So dividend is quarterly dividend. Okay. Um, uh, is anyone already having this, or you're okay with this? We can go to the next talk.
Vivek, can we enter into swing trades at this level? Like it's the red bar is crossing the Bollinger Band. So within this level, we can enter for the swing trade.
That's a very good question. And I would like to clarify one point here, that when a stock chart on candlestick, if you see that it has started moving downward and it is crossing this mid Bollinger Band, sorry, this is coming in middle, but just maybe I'll open again and show again. When the candlesticks pattern, if you see that it is crossing the mid Bollinger Band from up to down, which is a kind of confirmation that it's on downtrend. On the other hand, when it is crossing the mid Bollinger Band from downward to upward, it's a confirmation of uptrend. So for swing trades, it's suggested to buy when it is under mid Bollinger Band and try to sell when it is touching upper Bollinger Band. So this, when it is going downward, it's time to sell and exit if you are already holding it. When it is either touching the lower Bollinger Band, that's the perfect time to enter. Or if you see that it has started moving up and it is closer to mid Bollinger Band and it is not reversing from here, sometimes you might see that it reverses after touching the mid Bollinger Band. If you see that it is crossing the mid Bollinger Band upwards, that's the second time that you could enter. The first time is when it is touching the lower Bollinger Band. That's the perfect time. But in some cases, you might not be sure whether it is reversing the trend or no, or it is still continuing downward. Like it's touching here, but the next day also it continued. So in some cases, it's not clear. In many cases, it's not clear when it is touching the lower Bollinger Band. But in this case, it is very clear when it is crossing from downward to upwards. It crosses the mid Bollinger Band. You could enter and sell it when it touches the upper Bollinger Band. Let me close this and open again so that what I said, you could see it more clearly. Yes. So let's take example of this part. So what I was saying is this candle on this day when it is touching the lower Bollinger Band, that's the best time to enter. And when it is crossing from down to up, when it is going from uh, lower Bollinger Band crossing the mid Bollinger Band towards upper Bollinger Band, when it is moving from down to up, that time when it crosses, that's a second time good entry point. And when it touches the upper Bollinger Band, um, that's the exit point. I think in these cases you might see it's more clear. When it touches this upper Bollinger Band, it starts moving down. When it in many cases you might see that if the trend is strong upward, if it touches mid Bollinger Band, it reverse upward and continues up. If the trend is downward, then it comes closer to mid Bollinger Band and then continues going downward. So this crossing from down to up is a confirmation that it's moving upwards, and when it crosses from up to down, it's a confirmation that it's downward. So in this case, when it is here, that's kind of confirmation that it's on downtrend. So you can expect it to fall down further and reach around 30 or under 30. So that's why I was suggesting to enter into this under 30. Is it clear?
Yeah, thanks, Ever. It made me clear that point. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, any questions on C and Q?
No, thank you.
Okay, great. So let's move to next talk, TFFI.
EFII.
TFII. Okay.
Yep.
TSX, TFI International.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. TFI, similar to CNQ, it is on downtrend. You can expect it to touch around 65. So if you are looking to enter, maybe next few trading sessions might be good time to enter. Just two things you need to notice, that it has started touching the lower Bollinger Band and is starting, um, the next candle is starting to move upward, or it's a green candle. Like what I'm trying to say is this example. So on this day it has touched and it has gone a little further. The next candle, if you see, it is green, which is an indication that it has started reversing the trend, and the next green candle after that is a confirmation that it has started on uptrend, and see, it has then rallied. Hope I'm clear. So for TFI, I would say wait for it for couple of more sessions, means one or two, and that would be good time to enter if you're looking to enter for short term. If you are looking to enter for long term, it has rallied a lot since mid March. After stock market crash, it has rallied a lot. Is it near? It's still under its 52-week peak, which means maybe around on 16th November or on 14th December it would have touched that. So it's going through correction. You can enter around 65, and if you enter around 65 you could either enter for swing trade short term or also for long term. Based on its trend, it looks to be doing well post COVID stock market crash. So you can consider to hold it for long as well. But as of looking at this trend, most specifically if I see from here to here, it looks good for swing trades. Like you enter, let's say if you would have entered here, not even 53, if you enter around 54 or 55, you could exit around 62 or 65. So you make around $7 to $10 in one swing. So similar again here around 59 it touched here. If you enter around 60, you can exit around 65, 67, even if we don't take the peak. So $7 to $10 on one swing you can make. Unless there is some news which can help it to rally like this. If you're holding for medium to long term, maybe you could, if there are news, it can rally not this much, but at least you can expect some shorter version of this kind of rally. But definitely it looks good for a swing trade or a short term hold. And you could enter around $65. Is that fine? Or let's see what other indicators. You could also use RSI, relative strength index. So see, it's downward, indicating it's on downtrend. So as I had mentioned some time back, when once it is under 40, RSI is under 40, that's when you could consider to enter. So RSI under 40, and if it starts to reverse or turns upward. So like see in this time it had gone down further and then it reversed here. You can notice same thing here. So it turned down and then it's reversed the trend here. So same thing, similar thing you can see on RSI. So as of now, RSI is downward, indicating it's on downtrend. Watch for RSI and the candles touching lower Bollinger Band. Once you notice that it has started reversing, that time you could enter. Any questions on TFII?
No, thank you.
Welcome. So let's go to BBI. No, sorry, BB. BlackBerry, right? So it has dropped. So it was expected. If anyone is surprised on Friday, please don't be, because since it had this spike based on some strong news, it was trading higher. So now it's filling this gap. That's why you see it's going down. Since it had gone up on a day very high, that's why it fell down close to 16%, 15.79, and that was expected. For someone looking to enter again, I would say please hold on for few more days or even a week. Let it fall down further. Right now you might be seeing you're seeing that lower Bollinger Band is too lower. This also keeps based on how it trades, it starts giving more clear picture. So you could easily expect it to fall under $8. So let it correct and come down at lower levels. As you could see, for a long time it was trading in this channel, and then it had a breakout over here, and it had this spike. Though there are strong news, the strong news made it to go high, and now that news has cooled off, so the stock price is also coming back. So expect it to fall under $8, close to $8. I would say if it is around 7.6, you could enter in small quantity and then wait to see whether it is dropping further or starting to reverse. So since this was the channel that it was trading, it might fall back because it has to fill this gap. So it might fall back to the same levels, and it might continue to drop further. That's why it's better to watch at this level whether it is reversing from here or it is falling down further to come at these price levels, which was around $6.5. It traded at that level for a long time. Similar thing you might expect in CCI. Okay, I think it allows adding 3 indicators. I'm not seeing Bollinger Band. Yeah, you can see even CCI is downward. So let it drop under minus 95 or even close to minus 100 or even more. So once you see these turning upward, then you could start entering. Yeah. So it allows 3 indicators. Somehow Williams R it is not seeing, and that's why it was not allowing to add the third one, fourth one. Okay. Penny stocks which I'm watching. Okay. So I think maybe I can message you which penny stocks I'm looking. Do we have any of? Usually I can say in general what logic I apply for stocks which are traded on TSX, the stocks which are around 0.40 to 0.80. Within this range, I choose to enter the stocks which are traded on TSX, and the reason being on Simple Trade, the stocks which are traded under 0.50 for over a year well simple trade removes those stocks. So the stocks which are around 0.40 and are on uptrend, I expect that they will cross 0.50, or they would have crossed 0.50 if you look at its 1 year chart. So I usually enter those stocks because if I buy around 0.40, between 0.40 0.50, it's want to cross 0.50, and if it goes up further, it's even better. And for stocks which are around 0.80, they usually cross $1. So it gives close to 20% profit on those stocks which are on TSX. And for stocks traded on US markets, on NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchanges, I usually enter stocks which are around or above 0.80, because uh, most of the stocks, there are some more additional criteria, but one of the criteria is the stocks need to maintain their 3-month price level at least $1. So if they are under $1 for more than 3 months, they are removed, or they are moved to its O, the other stock exchange. They call it as O, OCTS. I may be pronouncing it wrong. That market, and because it is moved on that market, the price drops. So if you enter into a stock which is under 0.80, there's high chance that those stocks will trade within this 3 month to a price of $1 or higher. Usually you will see them trading one to it also reaches $1.52. So there you get around on a 0.80 stock, if you get 20 cents, then it's for that particular stock it's like 25%. So 25% you can make on that minimum. So this is the rough range which I usually choose. I usually don't go on buying stocks which are under 0.75 on either NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange. They might also cross, but I am not taking risk on entering those stocks. So that's why ZSUN, I think it's still under lower than that level. We'll come to it when we are discussing that. Is that okay, Vivek? Vivek? Yeah. I'll also specifically mention which are the stocks which I am watching. So I'll maybe share with you after our call. Is that fine, Vivek?
Sure, Kamal.
Thanks. Okay, so let's go to next talk. Yes, fair, yeah. I'll just close this. Okay. So we had strong news this week for APHA and TLRY. APHA is, I think, let's see, let me see. So 6, 8. They are overtaking Tillery, yes. So because of the merger news, this APHA price did not go much, but it did go up, but it did not go much. Whereas Tillery price went more than 18%. So in short term, maybe you might not see much difference, but in the long term, APHA price, it would be worth to hold for long term at this price. You could see, though it has been trading quite well in last couple of months, it has had a good rally. You could still expect it to grow further once their merger dates are near, or when they are completing the merger. Even after that, you could expect its price to trade higher. So it could be good to enter this for medium to long term if you're thinking to hold for medium to long term. And coming to its entry point, if you're looking for what should be the range to enter this, so it has rallied. So maybe it looks that it would be safer to wait for it to undergo this correction and then enter it. As you could see, there's a gap still, and a price under or closer to 8.5 would be a better price to enter for long term. So right now I would say just keep it in watch list and wait for it to correct and reach around or 8.5 or under 9. That's where you could start noticing whether it is about to reverse its trend. Is that fine?
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. So especially for on this news for a day, it was okay to enter, but I think the day it opened itself at higher, so and after it opened, it didn't move up much, so it wasn't that worth entering. So I didn't try entering into this. Let's keep it in watch list for long term. Sure, I'll share the penny stocks list in the group. Okay, let's go to next stock. I think we covered TFI. Okay, so it was, I think it's the same thing. PLTR. Okay, so this one is a good growth stock. I would share that I had entered this around 25 and exited around 30, somewhere here, or I think it was maybe here. So I had entered around 25 and then sold at 30. Okay, so after that it is going through correction. Though if you notice, the volume is good on this stock, so you might expect this that 1 or 2 days it is up, then it is down, but overall in general it is slightly on downtrend. So once it goes under this mid Bollinger Band, you could consider to enter. If it crosses this mid Bollinger Band with a bigger red candle and it continues going down further, then you can expect it to drop around $21. If it doesn't cross this mid Bollinger Band and it starts to reverse from here, you could consider to enter around 25.5 $26 with a price target of again 31. I think on this day it reached up to 33. I think yeah, 33.5. So again, this is a good stock for swing trade or for very short hold. If it reverses from here, buy it around 26 and with a sell target of 31. And if it crosses, then you could buy around 21 for medium to long term. Is that fine? I think even RSI would indicate the similar. Yeah, so it's on downtrend. It was in overbought region. Now it's on downtrend. So for longer term, let the RSI fall down around 40 or less. But if you are planning to enter for sorry, for short term or swing trades, you could consider to enter here itself. Any questions on PLTR? If not, we can move to the next stock, AC Air Canada. Okay, Air Canada. So for those who were holding Air Canada, I know many members in our group since March they have been following Air Canada and some of them were holding in good quantities. So it was a good time this month of November. And if you would have exited by taking profit around 27 or above 25, it was good since it is going through correction now. It's on downtrend, which is confirmed by RSI. It's currently at 45. So let it fall down further. And once you notice RSI reversing and also on the chart, you could see it touching the lower Bollinger Band and starting to reverse. So for new buys, I would say see a small gap here. If it reverses around 22, it's good. Otherwise, it might drop under 22, and I would say the first buying price would be around 22. If it's not reversing here, then you could enter around $20. 20.25. $20 would be a good price for holding for long term. And still, if you are buying around 22 or 20, you could, if you are okay to hold it for medium to long term, you could expect that it might, in the medium to long term, it might double since its 52-week high was 52.7, but that was pre-COVID, and since COVID hit, it has impacted airlines, a lot more heavier than some of the other sectors. So it might not reach 52, price above 52, but you can still expect it to trade in 40s. So if you buy around 20 or 22, you can still, in the medium to long term, expect that it might double. If you're planning to hold for that long. And that long term, when I say long term, it's close to a year. Any questions for Air Canada?
That's good. Thank you.
Welcome. GOL. Yep. Please feel free to interrupt me or ask. Otherwise, I feel, am I only the one on the call? That's why I checked whether there are members on the call or no. GOL. Okay, so let's go to next talk. Thanks. Okay. So our next talk is goose. So on TSX goose. So it's a good stock to hold, and if you are looking to enter, it has started on its uptrend. If you have not already entered, I would say it's still a good price to enter with a target price of $50. So the ideal buy price was close to $39. And if you're looking to enter now, if you can get it at around 41 or even 40.5, I think you can have a target of 50 to 51. So that gives you $10 on this $40 stock. So I would say it's good time to get in goose. Any more questions on goose?
Thank you.
Welcome. I'll just quickly see how much is CCI. Okay, yeah. So you can notice the RSI, CCI, the trend is clear. Both of them are almost similar on this chart.
Should we place the buy order in the first hour or wait till on Monday?
You could see whether it is because even if it is on uptrend, it might open at this price, or for some time it might go a little lower than this. So depending whether you are able to track or no, if you are not able to track, you can just put a limit buy order at say 41 or 40.5. After few hours, if you see that if the order has not executed based on the price at that time, I usually look at the prices after 3 or 3:30. So based on price at that time, if the limit buy order has not executed, then I modify it to closer to the price at which it is trading, so that the order gets filled.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, so whatever I do I am sharing. That may not be ideal, but that works for me, and that is what I share.
Yeah, everybody has to do their due diligence. You are just guiding us. Yeah.
Thanks. My pleasure in sharing. You can try that. If that works, it's well and good. Or if you see that you have even some more additional observation which can give you better results, you're happy to add to it. I have observed that most especially on Canadian market stocks or TSX stocks, around 3:30 or after 3:30, the stocks go lower. I mean, compared to the price on whole day, if the stock price has gone down, it drops further after that. So that's why I prefer buying during that time. And secondly, is if you buy around that time, you are not losing on that day. There's very less trading time left that it will drop down further. Many times
That's
it
a very
happens
good,
that,
yeah, very good idea.
yeah, many times it happens that we see that stock has dropped in the morning and we enter, but it continues dropping down further. So we bought at a dropped price, but it drops down further. So based on that observation, I started taking new buys after 3:30.
That's excellent advice. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay, so again, as I mentioned that my techniques may not be ideal. In some cases, it happens that it dropped in the morning, then it picked up. So you might not get the lowest price always, but in most cases, I see most especially if it's a red day, if most of the stocks are down on that day, especially you will notice that towards the close of the day, the stocks are even more low. So that's the general observation. Okay. Yeah. So going to next PKI. And also you would notice that if a stock is like a big stock which is traded by most people like Tesla, Shopify, if it drops in the morning too much, then it starts uh, moving up because many people want to buy it at lower price. So since they see that it has fallen, they start entering and the stock price starts tickling upwards. Um, I know by saying this, I made a confusing statement. Um, but what I'm trying to clarify is if uh, in general, on a red day, most of the stocks, if they are down, it's safer to take a new buy position around 3:30 or after 3:30. If it's a big stock, bigger company like Shopify, Tesla, uh, Amazon, which are being traded by most people. Obviously, you would also be following its trend. So you yourself would notice that mm, in the first half itself, the price has dropped more. Like most especially if you notice Tesla prices on Friday first half or Tuesday first half or around 12, you'll see that it is at the lowest. Then
Yeah,
then it starts moving little upward because people try to enter.
true. So buying pressure.
Right. Okay. So moving on to our next stock in the list is PKI. Okay. Parkland. And it has been doing well in about a month or so. Seems did it reach its 52-week peak on 17th and then it cooled off. Sorry. So It seems that it would go correction from here on. Let's see. Right. So as you can see, both RSI and Williams are indicating it has moved downward. So it has started on its downtrend. If you sold out on the last trading day or a day before, well and good, you were able to take out your profit. I would expect it to go through correction from here on, and since it has been trading well for about a month, as you can notice here, it came up to mid Bollinger Band and then it moved upward. So since it was trading well in these sessions, so you might expect it to reverse after touching mid Bollinger Band, but looking at RSI and Williams R being steep downward, it looks that it might cross this mid Bollinger Band and continue further down. So if it touches mid Bollinger Band and reverse, it would be good to enter around $41. But if it crosses and drops down further, a buy price of 38.75 would looks good for PKI. You could also see the confirmation of reversal of trend from RSI or Williams R or even from CCI. Apart from it seeing that it touches the lower Bollinger Band and starts forming green candle upward. Any questions on PKI?
What target should we keep in mind?
Okay, so your target, whether you entered for a swing trade at around 41 or around 38.5, for swing trade, a target price would be around $48 if you enter at 41. So you could expect a $8 profit on that. And if you are holding for long term, I would say it might cross 50, since 49 seems to be its price even pre-COVID, and now it is almost on that price level. So you could expect it to break that 49 resistance and move further up. So for long term, it might, let's see, we can, okay, so let me stretch it further. I'll just bring this down. I'll close this so that it's more clear. Right, so if you could see, so the next immediate target for this, it looks to be at this 43.75. Sorry, did I? Okay, sorry. If you are looking for short term, then the target price should be 43.75. I looked at this 52-week high, which was pre-COVID. Sorry about that. So your short-term target would be 43.75, and if you are planning to hold for longer term, then the next price level of 51.5. So even for short term, the next means the target would be 43.75, and for medium to longer term, the next target of 51.5. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about the previous target.
No, no, not at all.
So the correct target that you could look is 43.75.
Sure.
Okay, so let's go to next. Space. This one. Okay. So this Virgin Galactic has rallied a lot since October end. Possibly there might be some news, and now it is going through correction. Sure. Oops. Oops, sorry. I think it's yeah. Sorry. So now it's going through correction, and it has crossed its mid Bollinger Band. It is still going downward. As you can see, RSI and Williams R both are downward. Though Williams R has reached into oversold position, it might drop down further. Let it cross minus 100, and RSI is still at 40, close to 43. So expecting it to fall under 40. And from this chart, could see the good buy price for this would be around 21.5. So around 21.5 would be a good entry point. You can get confirmation from the reversal of trend, both from RSI, Williams R, also you can see on CCI. So right now it's on downtrend. Let it fall down further. 21.5 or 21.5 with a stop loss of 20.5 would be good to enter in SPC. Is that fine?
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Okay, so let's move to next section. Yes, I think we discussed this last week as well. Let's see. Welcome, Mohit. Okay. Yes, so I think we had discussed this last week, and as you can see, it has dropped down further. So now it formed a green candle on the last trading session, but still I would say let's wait for 1 or 2 days for the confirmation that it is starting to move upward. And as I mentioned, based on its price range, since it's at 0.58, I would not be comfortable in entering in this as of now. I would let it to cross this 0.75, 0.80 range. And as you can see, this it from October itself, it has not crossed that range. So which is a kind of a risk that from past 3 months, it has not touched $1 range. And if it doesn't do that, it might be moved to the other market, in which case it might fall down further. So that's the reasoning behind not entering in ZSUN as of now. It's is it on Nasdaq or NYSE? So there are other factors as well, but one of the requirement on listing is on these exchanges is that the stock price should be above $1 in 3 months. There are other factors which might keep it listed for some time as they give a notice, and then there are certain conditions. If they meet, they keep it. However, if they don't, then they are moved. So I would say if you have not entered, it's safer not to enter. There are other stocks which are more safer and could give you similar profit or even better. If you have already entered and you are holding it, then I can suggest the nearest end exit point you could have at around 0.66. That could be your target price. To exit and avoid it into getting a situation that it's been moved and you lose after that. It may happen that it might cross and it might go up and it still remains, but we never know. And what I'm suggesting is a safer approach. Finally, it would be up to you if you are currently holding. Any questions for this one? Okay. Okay, so let's go to next SGRN. So I'm taking the one on TSXV. Okay, I think I had seen this talk as well. Okay, it has rallied a lot, and I believe that's why it has caught your attention as well, and it looks very attractive stock to enter. Around, okay. Yeah, if we see this kind of rally, then obviously we feel we should have been already in, or we should get in as early as possible. But let's see what could be the better time to get in. Yeah. So somehow I missed in this range when it was under 0.50. It was trading for a long time. Maybe the time when I saw this GRN, I did not see this did not anticipate this kind of rally. Okay, so right now if it is at 1.79, it had a correction here, but not so much, and then it is still holding. So I would say for this kind of stock, though it's like a little riskier move, but if I usually track this kind of stock, then if I see one or two corrections like this or like this, then I try to enter on that day the lowest price if I can get, because if it is on a rally like this, it sometimes touches the mid Bollinger Band and sometimes not. And so I try to enter in small position. So even in case if it drops, after I enter, I can increase my position so that my average is still lower. So for this, I would say just wait for few more sessions and see whether it is starting on downtrend or if it is after this it starts it continues moving further. Uh, if it continues moving further, you might feel that you are losing some on profit, but I feel that it's better to be confident that we are sure about the trend rather than entering it in a haste. So I would say wait for one or two more trading sessions to see if it is continuing on the rally which it has had, because as you can see here, it gave a small correction and then it continued. So looking at this, it appears that on Monday again it might form a green candle, but if it reverses trend around Monday or Tuesday, we might see bigger red candles, so which might surpass this green candle and it might close lower. So even though if it uh, goes up on Monday, on Tuesday you might see a bigger red candle if it has started reversing its trend downward. So I would recommend to watch on that trend first before entering. So watch it closely how it is trading on Monday and Tuesday. If on Tuesday it uh, continues on, uh, it is trading up, continues on uptrend, you could consider to enter in small quantity. And if you see that it has started falling down, then you know that it is starting to take downtrend. So no need to enter. Does
Okay, so
that
if
help?
it, yeah, so if it goes up on Tuesday, if it keeps going up on Tuesday, then I can enter in small quantity.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, makes sense. Thank you so much, Kamal.
right. Welcome. So these are my way of entering. So I am sharing. If you have your observations as well, please feel free to share.
I still have a long way to go to get to your level. So your analysis makes more sense.
Thanks. Okay. So, any questions on GRN, or can we move to next?
No, good. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. So let's go to ENB. It's a strong energy stock, has been hit hard due to COVID. In general, you might notice this kind of trend in November, December, early December for most of the energy stocks except JE. JE is an exception. You would have seen this kind of rally because in general, crude and energy sector has shown good signs. So energy stocks have gone up, and now they are going through correction. So if you are planning to enter for long term, does it give? Yeah, it gives dividend as well. So if you are planning to enter for long term, um, like I mentioned for other stocks, watch whether it is reversing trend this after touching this mid Bollinger Band, or it crosses. If it crosses, then it might fall off further, um, and you could enter under $40, around 39.75. In general, it's my gut which might go wrong. In general, because of the winter season and energy stocks usually trade at good levels during this time. So I hope that it doesn't fall down further, um, and it might reverse from here. So just keep a watch on how it's trading. Based on that, consider to enter either around 41, or if it falls down further, around 39.7 or 39.7. Those would be the entry points. If you're planning to hold for short term, your exit could be around 43.5, and if you're holding for long term, anyways, um, you can expect it to recover to its pre-COVID level. But again, it's gonna take time. But since it gives dividend, that's an additional profit it gives. So it's a good stock to hold for long term in general. Any questions for ENB? If not, we can go to SU, which I am expecting would be similar. Yeah, since even SU is an energy sector stock, Suncor is following a similar trend to ENB. Just a difference that it has given gap up openings on few days. But in terms of trend, as you can see that it has moved up during this time and is now undergoing correction. And for SU, you can see that it has crossed its mid Bollinger Band. So it's confirmation that it's on downtrend. It would be safer to watch it for some more time before entering. Yeah, as you can see, both these indicators are confirming the downtrend. It's still at minus 35. Let it fall off up to minus 75, and RSI up to 40. So I would, looking at the indicators for SU, I would suggest you could hold on for some more time, watch it fall down further because it gave gap up openings. It needs to close that gap, so it needs to drop down further. And buy price close to $20 would be better for SU. The lower Bollinger Band is showing around 20.6. I would say you could enter around under 20.5, around $20. And again, in SU also gives dividend, so you can consider based on how much dividend SU is giving and ENB. I think ENB was giving a higher dividend, but its cost is also higher. So you could either go for one ENB or two Suncor if you're planning to hold for long term. In general, in terms of ratio, means you could hold two Suncor or one ENB in that ratio. Does that help? Any
Thanks.
question? Okay, welcome. Any questions for this? Or are we good to?
What's the first target, Kaman?
Yeah, for Suncor, the first target is $24.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you're saying either hold Enbridge or hold Suncor, not both. If I'm not
It's
wrong.
up to you. Means if you were to choose between either of them, I was suggesting if you were to choose between either of them based on um, dividend and their prices, I was suggesting in that ratio. If you are willing to
Yeah,
hold
I have
both,
Suncor.
yeah, right.
I have Suncor. I was thinking of whether to enter an Enbridge or not for long term.
Mhm. So I feel holding one is holding one
Yeah,
in larger quantity is like holding both of them. Yeah,
makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense.
I don't see much difference
Thanks.
in holding both. But again, since these two are two different companies, they can move differently. So that could be
Yeah,
the only
true.
difference which I
True.
can see. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So next is our last talk for the day, unless anyone has request for any more. GOL. So it's on New York Stock Exchange. Okay. Yeah. So both on RSI and Williamson, it is clear that it's on downtrend. Even Bollinger Band is indicating that it is moving down from upper Bollinger Band to mid Bollinger Band. And looking at RSI and Williams are steep slope, it looks like it might cross this mid Bollinger Band and drop down further. Also because there was gap up opening here, so there's high probability that it will cover this gap up, so you could expect it to fall down further. In that case, a buy price under $9 at around $8 would be a good entry point for GOL. And you should wait for a week or so for it to reach at this level, or at least 3 to 4 trading sessions. And at a buy price of around $8, a target of 11.5, and it could be a good hold for long term. As I see pre-market crash, it was trading around $17 with a 52-week high of 18.7, which gives a sense that if you buy it around $8 and if you're planning to hold for medium to long term, this could double. So you could easily have a target of $16 or more. Okay, it's a Brazilian airline. Okay, got it. Yeah, airline. So yeah, you could expect it to follow the trend which you might be seeing for AC Air Canada or AAL, American Airlines. Yeah, see, very similar trend. So again, like I mentioned for Air Canada, it applies for AAL and so does for GOL. Wait for it to correct, and once it drops around this level, you could hold it for long term, at least medium to long term, because airlines in general would take time, at least 6 months, to get it everything on track. That why I'm hoping in the best case. It all depends on how well vaccine is doing in 2021, and based on that, the airlines, though they have started operating, but still they are not getting as much revenue as anyone would expect before COVID hit. So it would take some time for airline industry in general to get back to the same level before COVID, and especially the stocks to trade at those pre-COVID levels. Does that help? Tahad, do you have any questions for this? If not, then I think, okay. Yeah, so I think this was it.
Thank you so much, Kamal. Excellent session.
My pleasure. I hope it helped, or at least gives a little idea on where you could go with the stocks that you are having in your watch list. My pleasure.
Thanks, Kamal. It really helps, and it really helps to understand things because we are everyone. I think is a beginner over here, so I think these sessions are become really helpful for us.
That's good to know. Thanks for your feedback.